All right, this is going to be a quick little video because I want to share something that I noticed yesterday when I was watching a Major League Baseball game. I found it interesting. I think you will too. Before I get into it, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Also like this video so we can share it with other baseball fans. But I was watching last night the Cubs ball game, and I like to flip around the MLB network from time to time and check out different broadcasts, and I had some different thoughts on opening day when I tuned into the A's game and I saw a big beard, and then I tune into some other games. I love watching the Mets broadcasts because I think there's nobody better than the Mets trio of Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, and Keith Hernandez. But I love to check out sometimes the studio shows because it's so rare when you get to watch an out-of-town pregame show, postgame show from an out-of-town market. And I was really happy when I turned on the Cubs. It was actually the post-game show because I had the game on. I was on the phone. And I tuned into the Cubs post-game show. And there's Ryan Dempster. It's so cool. Ryan Dempster, who, just to give you some background, I started my broadcast career for the Hudson Valley Renegades. And they were, at the beginning, they were an affiliate of the Texas Rangers. Then they became a Tampa Bay Devil Ray affiliate, and now they're a New York Yankee single A long season affiliate. But during the time when they were an affiliate back then, Ryan Dempster was a product of the Texas Rangers. And in 1995, Ryan Dempster joined the team just at the end of the season after the Renegades had made the postseason. And they called on him to pitch in the postseason. And he was 18 years old. So I didn't know him well. He was only with the team for a week or two right at the end. They ended up getting knocked out of the playoffs in 1995. But he pitched in that postseason, and I got to know him a little bit. And then he obviously had a strong minor league career and then became a major league pitcher with the Marlins, Cubs, and elsewhere. And I think that the whole point of the story is to say that I think he's one of the best color analysts in baseball today. And obviously he's done games, he does studio hosting, radio, TV. He's done a lot of broadcasting with Major League Baseball over a decade or so since he retired from being an active player. But here are some of the things that I like about Ryan Dempster. And I thought of these things last night as I was watching him on the Cubs broadcast, and I thought you would appreciate this too, because we can all take some of these things and become a better broadcaster. Firstly, you can just sense he's having a blast. Whenever you turn on the radio and you hear Ryan Dempster, whenever you turn on the TV, whenever you see him, he's just having a blast. He's smiling, he's happy. And I just love that because that really is infectious. And you take a look at any of the names that you know of broadcasting baseball, and I'm talking mainly now in a studio situation, you can just sense their passion and their enjoyment of being there. I'll think about Harold Reynolds, who when I was a teenager, he joined Baseball Tonight right at the beginning. And he had been a player with the Mariners, a second baseman, and so I knew who he was. Saw him play, liked him as a player, but he seemed to go much deeper with what a player was thinking than I had ever heard out of a studio host. And that's, in my opinion, one of the reasons he was so successful with ESPN, and then obviously until this day, he's been one of the standout studio hosts that we have in baseball. But that was one thing that I learned, or I could sense from him, was that he had a passion for it. He had an enjoyment of it, similar to Dempster. And obviously broadcasting has changed in the past 20 years, where it's a little bit more about attitude, and it's a little lighter than it was. Maybe it was more nuts and bolts then, which I actually enjoyed more, being a pure baseball guy. And now it's more about some of the other things. You know, you see A-Rod and David Ortiz, and they talk about different things, and it's more of an entertainment show sometimes than a baseball show. fine. That appeals to a different audience. They're not catering towards the 50-year-old guy like me. They're catering towards the 18-year-old fan. So I understand that. But I think Dempster can bridge that gap. He can be fun and entertaining, and he is. He's a fun guy. But he also has that background where he can talk about the nuts and bolts of what's going on, the nuts and bolts about the game, the teams, the players, obviously from right down to what they're doing on the field and why, to the bigger issues like the trends in the game, the teams that are hot, why teams are doing what they're doing. So he can talk about all of it. And so I just thought I would put together a quick little video to share that, because I think that's very important for a broadcaster to always keep that in mind, the fact that your passion is infectious, it's exciting, it's magnetic, and it draws people to the game, whether you're doing play-by-play, color, studio hosting, sideline reporting, regardless what area of sports broadcasting you're doing. A passion and an enjoyment for what you're there to cover and talk about, it comes through. And you can see the opposite as well. You can see certain people, and I wish I could tell some of the stories about certain people that really aren't into it, don't want to be there. And then when the camera goes on, they're a certain way. And this happens in sports broadcasting and news broadcasting as well, where what you see isn't always what they are. The persona you see is not always what they are in real life. And some would call that a phoniness. Some would call that an inauthenticity. You always want to be authentic as a broadcaster. And I think that's the basis of what I wanted to say and convey with this video. That's what Ryan Dempster is. He's authentic. He's happy to be there. He's fun to be there. And I think he is a great addition, a great, I guess, role model for up-and-coming studio broadcasters for what you want to be as a studio host. I think it's important to keep some of those things in mind. So just a quick little video. Wanted to share that with you. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe. And who knows, the next time I have a thought like this, you'll be the first to know. Take care. Talk to you next time.